Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents A Happier You, a 7-week program to transform negative thinking into positivity and resilience, by Scott Glassman, PsyD, narrated by Mike Chamberlain. Introduction. We are living in a time of great uncertainty and turmoil. The world seems to constantly pull us away from ourselves, with stressful events, negative thoughts, and upsetting feelings. For many of us, this wave of negativity begins not long after waking up. Your first thought may be, "Today is going to be overwhelming." When your phone buzzes with another work-related text message, you might think, "Here comes another problem, and I can't respond right now even though it's urgent." Say you suddenly remember, then, that you didn't wheel the recycling bin down to the curb. You can feel your anxiety rising. You think, "I'm a disorganized mess." The negative narrator in your head continues, "It's only Monday. How am I ever going to get through the week? What's the point of trying?" By now, you are seriously considering climbing back into bed. When consumed by this kind of negative thinking, we enjoy life less, struggle in our relationships, sleep poorly, feel drained, and find it more difficult to remember things. We become more susceptible to anxiety, depression, and anger. This downward spiral into negativity can leave little room for taking care of yourself at a time when you need it most. The good news is that you picked this book. You know that something has to change. And, more important, that it can change. Something has told you that it is time to start listening more carefully to what you need. Maybe that involves eating a proper meal, spending time with friends, watching a favorite TV show, getting a haircut, or planning to get a good night's sleep. The mere fact that you have gotten this far suggests you are ready to begin finding the positive side of life more consistently. A happier you is your ticket to putting yourself first and feeling more joy and meaning on your life's journey. This program was developed to help you prioritize yourself again and to do it in a way that better insulates you from stress, whether you want to manage chronic unhappiness, keep negative events from overwhelming you, or learn some extra ways to feel good. This 7-week guided journey is rooted in the evidence-based principles of positive psychology, the study of optimal living, and offers a variety of positive practices that you can immediately incorporate into your daily routine. You will be led through carefully designed activities that can kickstart your positivity engine and make you more resilient in difficult moments. You will learn how to spotlight what makes you feel good on a daily basis, and will get to know your best possible self at a deeper level. You will begin experiencing the world in ways that put you in the driver's seat of your emotional well-being. This includes exploring practices like mindfulness, gratitude, humor, and kindness, which research has found can improve your mood. By adding new positive exercises into your routine each week, you will find yourself naturally leaning away from negative and toward the good things in life. A happier you builds this positivity reflex. Picking this book is, in itself, a form of self-care. It means you want to get more consistently in touch with your strengths and possibilities. The first step in our journey together begins with becoming more aware of what you are thinking and feeling. How about we start right now? Let's pause a moment and see where you are emotionally by answering the following questions. Can you think of a few things that have made you happy recently? Or does the past week or two seem pretty dark? At what point in your life were you happiest, and why? Do you see yourself as a positive or negative person? Regardless of what you think, what would others say? How did it feel answering these questions? This kind of self-reflection can be challenging, especially if you are struggling with chronic sadness or anxiety. We all confront ups and downs in life, and sometimes many more downs than ups. But believe it or not, you have already begun to take control of your happiness by asking these questions. You stepped back to look at the landscape of your mind, which opens the door to new choices and insights. For example, maybe you discovered that you are happiest when you are talking to people versus in a room by yourself. Maybe others see you as happy-go-lucky, but you often feel down inside. Hold on to these revelations. They are precious. As we travel together through these next 7 weeks, one thing is certain. You can expect to have many more revelations. We will move slowly and compassionately together throughout this journey. It is also important that we move at a pace that is right for you. I want you to feel encouraged every step along the way as you reveal and create positive experiences. In my son's elementary school, bucket filling is a way of encouraging good acts. Students can fill their bucket by doing something nice for someone, showing a strength, or achieving something. Often they are filling someone else's bucket at the same time. These positive choices are celebrated by the addition of brightly colored balls into containers tacked to the wall. It may help to begin to think of your life as a bucket that you can either fill with positive content or deplete by focusing on the negative. You might actually want to start trying this method of tracking how you feel right now. Find a clear container and fill it with some colorful objects when you experience moments that make you feel good. You can add or remove some of the objects each day, depending on how that day went. If you prefer, you could rate your sense of well-being on a scale of 1 to 10, keeping track of how the number changes as you move through the program. Seeing your bucket level or rating gives you a visual reminder of where you are emotionally. This is great preparation for our work together, which will teach you how to catch positive experiences and expand their effect on your day. It also can help you become a sharper observer of your inner self. Along with watching your inner world, there is a special point of view I hope you will take when exploring a happier you. I call it the flower philosophy of change. The flower philosophy of change. No particular age, race, gender, educational background, life experience, personality trait, or any other personal attribute is required to become a more resilient person who can feel joy and meaning every day. We already have that potential within us. Think about where flowers come from. A seed placed in the earth already has 98% of everything it needs to become that beautiful bloom. In a miraculous way, the blossom's color, pattern, and height already reside within the seed. The only missing ingredients are water, sunlight, and soil. In other words, the right environment for it to reach its full potential. In a happier you, I see people in the same way, as naturally prepared to flourish under the right conditions. You already have within you everything you need to grow in positive directions. The skills you learn will act like the water, sunlight, and soil. Remember how you learned to ride a bicycle? You probably had that ability already present and waiting to jump out of you. However, you needed the right things: a bicycle, a flat open area, a desire to learn, someone to show you how to balance, encouragement to keep trying when you fell, and even the right kind of weather. Although these were important supports, none of them by themselves could have resulted in you learning to ride a bike. It only clicked when you were nurtured in many different ways, inside and out. Finding more consistent happiness depends on the same gentle nourishment, drawn from a number of different sources. Each week focuses on a different source. Week 1, positive events. Week 2, strengths and successes. Week 3, gratitude. Week 4, laughter and playfulness. Week 5, enjoyable and meaningful activities. Week 6, kindness. Week 7, love. I know what you may be thinking. Flowers need a lot of sunlight and water, and a lot of days those nutrients seem pretty hard to find. You are absolutely right. There are some days that just wear you out. You may feel more like a drooping weed than a vibrant flower. Here is where you need the compassionate, caring gardener within you the most. Part of the flower philosophy is weathering the stormy, negative days so that you can get back to the sunlight. How exactly is that done? By cultivating acceptance and patience. I would be setting you up for disappointment if I told you that once you try a new exercise, like catching positive events in week 1 or writing a gratitude letter in week 3, that you would have unlimited access to positivity. You will still hit the down notes. Bad things will happen, and they'll get you down. Negative feelings will inevitably appear, along with the brighter ones. What is important to remember is that negative feelings are not bad, wrong, or shameful. Nowhere in A Happier You do I say that you need to avoid or reject difficult emotions. The intention is not for you to develop a fear of negativity. Feeling sad, angry, and helpless at times is a normal part of life, especially when things happen that are bigger than any of us can control. The concept of yin and yang, which comes from the ancient Chinese religious tradition of Taoism, suggests that negative and positive sides of life are necessary parts of being human. In fact, they depend on one another. Happiness would lose its meaning if sadness did not exist. Before moving ahead, why don't we take a breather to really take these ideas in? Like a flower, you have the built-in potential to bloom, given the right conditions. A Happier You gives you a weekly roadmap showing you different ways to create those conditions. You can't rush a flower into existence. There will be stormy days without sunlight. It is perfectly normal to experience downtimes. In fact, they make the uptimes more meaningful. Meeting negative emotions with acceptance is an important part of well-being. I should also mention that negative feelings can be useful in a practical sense. Anxiety can motivate you to work harder in some situations. Anger can generate the energy and persistence needed to remove obstacles standing in the way of your goals. Sadness may lead you to find support for a loss or create the space you need to recover. So there is even an upside to negativity. It all comes down to how we respond to what we feel, what we think, and our circumstances. Do note, though, that negative thoughts and feelings present a problem when they become overwhelming for long periods of time. If negative thoughts and feelings are disrupting your life in a severe and persistent way, please contact a licensed mental health practitioner or seek an evaluation at a hospital. If the flower philosophy teaches us anything, it's that even at the worst times, something in you wants to keep growing toward the light. The hope is that this book will be your compassionate guide, always available to you, ready to nourish you and protect you from the elements. A Happier You encourages a whole self approach to wellness and self-care. The whole self. Feeling good can come from a variety of sources, like many streams coming together to create a wide river of well-being. They include the 7 sources you will explore over the course of this book: positive events, strengths and successes, gratitude, laughter and playfulness, enjoyable and meaningful activities, kindness, and love. What is wonderful about these sources is that each can flow through all aspects of being: emotional, psychological, social, physical, and spiritual, filling the whole self. How can a single source like gratitude have such a far-ranging effect? To understand this better, let's conduct a 3-step thought experiment. Step 1. Think of something you feel grateful for. Step 2. Ask yourself, what other good thoughts and feelings go along with that gratitude? Step 3. Ask yourself, has this source of gratitude ever strengthened your connection with others, helped you feel good physically, or given you any emotional or spiritual sustenance? Nikki, someone experienced with the positivity skills of a happier you, thought about a video call from her 5-year-old nephew. She felt grateful for being the special person that he'd called. He showed her his dance moves during the call, which led to feelings of joy, love, and connection. This single source of thankfulness filled her entire being. She felt more relaxed and connected to her higher power as a result. Gratitude is a way Nikki cares for her whole self every day. Over the course of this book, you too will learn how to let positivity sources like gratitude flow into different parts of your life experience. The more often you invite these streams in, the better you'll feel, and the more resilient you'll become. You might have picked this book already knowing which side of yourself needs a boost. You may, for example, feel a social emptiness. In that case, as you move through the weeks of a happier you could call to mind things that others like about you. Week 2, strengths. Channel thankfulness for positive conversations in the past. Week 3, gratitude. Search for funny things that make you laugh and share them. Week 4, playfulness. Plan a fun or meaningful activity with someone you care about. Week 5, enjoyable and meaningful activities. As Nikki's example demonstrates, your positivity sources and whole self are interconnected at deep levels. By the end of these next 7 weeks, I expect that you will be better able to nourish every dimension of who you are by regularly accessing these sources. The exercises in this book can also help you find deeper meaning in life. You may now see going to a restaurant with friends simply as a fun outing. After taking a deep dive into that activity, you may also realize how it elevates your social self-care, helps you shake off small stresses, energizes your body, and stimulates awareness of your best qualities. A happier you will show you how thinking, feeling, and doing get lifted up together. It will teach you how to start and extend these positive chain reactions. In addition to putting you in touch with self-nurturance and helping you use your whole self, this book will take you back to some of the best aspects of childhood. A happier you gives you permission to be a kid again. Let's discuss how that will work. Bringing out your inner child. While many of us, unfortunately, have experienced difficult or traumatic childhoods, children generally seem to have an easier time feeling happy than adults do. My 10-year-old reminds me of this every time he gets excited about eating a chocolate brownie, and I think, wow, if only I got that excited every time I drove to work. When you think about becoming your best self, it may help to go back in time and remember the simple pleasures that sparked your enthusiasm, joy, and laughter. Those jumping up and down excitements scattered throughout your day. When you invite your inner child to the table of self-transformation, it means you more fully appreciate having fun and being present. Can you think of the last time you felt like a kid? What were you doing? Who were you with? Whether you were running through a sprinkler or swinging on a playground, it probably involved letting go of worry. The popularity of adult coloring books, social painting nights, and escape rooms shows just how many of us feel that urge to strip away the complications and stress of being adults. The bucket-filling approach to mood awareness is another example of that. But bringing out the child within doesn't only involve having fun. Your inner child also has a more direct connection to love. Indeed, some research finds that young children build friendships mostly through showing affection. Love seems woven into our beings at a young age. Many parts of this book will feature an activity to bring out the child mind as a way of supporting your foundation of positivity. These exercises will involve a physical, hands-on activity, such as finding a rock that represents one of your strengths. If you have kids or work with them, you could even invite them to participate in these exercises along with you. On the other hand, if you do not feel comfortable slipping back into child mind, that is perfectly okay. There will be plenty of alternatives. The Happier You approach emphasizes creativity, flexibility, and choice versus one-size-fits-all. How to use this book. Improving your quality of life in a significant and lasting way takes practice. Each chapter contains a week's worth of practice, with an assortment of exercises to try. Positivity is a skill, and like any skill, the more you practice, the better you get. Just like learning to ride a bike, a Happier You takes a step-by-step approach to making positivity more automatic. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to try new things. I also suggest setting aside about 15 to 30 minutes a day for the full 7 weeks of the program. As I mentioned earlier, each of the 7 weeks will focus on a different positivity source or core positivity practice. Let's have another look at this roadmap, viewed through this lens, to see where we are headed together. Week 1. Catching positive events. Week 2. Exploring successes and personal strengths. Week 3. Cultivating gratitude. Week 4. Finding laughter and playfulness. Week 5. Fueling life with enjoyable and meaningful activities. Week 6. Revealing the springs of kindness. Week 7. Expanding the boundaries of love. Now that we have the map, here are 6 navigational tips for getting the most out of a Happier You and staying on course. Tip 1. For the program to be effective, try at least some exercises in each practice area and repeat them several times during the week. You do not need to do all the exercises in this book every day. Imagine instead that you are choosing from a menu. So, for example, Week 2 offers 6 exercises around strengths and successes. You might pick 4 you like, 2 to repeat during the week and 2 for the weekends. I encourage you to be creative and flexible with your exercise plan. Tip 2. Spacing out your use of a Happier You can help you learn its techniques more effectively. What might a well-spaced plan look like? Let's go over Week 1. This practice area asks that you work on mindfulness, identify positive feelings, and replay good moments of your day. You might choose to spend 10 minutes each morning doing a mindfulness of breathing exercise, 10 minutes in the afternoon scanning for positive feelings, and 10 minutes at night spotlighting your day's best moments. Spreading them out in this way can help if you have a busy schedule. You will also absorb positivity at different points of the day, which can increase how prepared you feel when faced with stressful events. Tip 3. I suggest you move through the weekly positivity themes in order. While you can skip ahead if you like, the sequence of skills has been thoughtfully planned, with each practice area building on the one that came before it. Of course, you can always spend more than 1 week on any area, especially if it is working well for you. You can also return to previous areas if you would like more practice before moving forward. Your pace is always the right pace. Tip 4. As with any self-transformational tool, I recommend you use this book with the support of a licensed professional. They can help you tailor it to your unique needs and assist you in getting around obstacles. This is especially true if you live with anxiety, depression, or other serious mental health challenges. A Happier You is not a good tool for managing emotional crises. If you are having any thoughts of hurting yourself or others, you should call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room. The bottom line? I want you to be safe. Tip 5. If your sleep, diet, physical activity, or illness management are suffering, this can make mastering these skills more difficult. Disrupted sleep or a poor diet can drain you of energy and make it hard to focus. Untreated or poorly managed health problems can also draw your focus away from positivity work. This is why professional help with sleep, diet, exercise, or managing chronic health problems may be necessary in addition to the core positivity practices. To benefit most from this book, you might want to seek the services of a registered dietitian, sleep specialist, chronic illness expert, or personal trainer, depending on your needs. How are you feeling so far with this plan? Does it seem doable? I'd like to offer you one last tip. Tip 6. Don't worry about getting it done all at once. Try to take this journey day by day, week by week. Every step along the way is a form of self-nourishment, and you deserve lots of credit for every section you get through. You could think of any time you spend on a happier you, whether it's 1 minute or 20 minutes, as your self-care workout. You are building your positivity strength each time you devote any attention to one of these new skills. Before we begin, I wanted to share a little of my personal history with you. In my life, I have needed and still need the skills I am writing about in this book. Your happiness is within reach. As a teenager, I struggled quite a bit with depression and anxiety. Although I went to good schools, had friends, earned good grades, played sports, and lived in a warm home where all my basic needs were met, I found myself continually swamped by negative thoughts and feelings. There were times when I could not imagine much of a future for myself, despite the fact that others thought I had it all. Fortunately, I received an enormous amount of help from professionals, friends, and family members that enabled me to recover and grow in positive directions. These were the days before positive psychology had emerged as an alternative perspective on change. In looking back, I feel that I would have benefited greatly from a resource that utilized practical ways to improve mood. As an undergraduate at the University of Pennsylvania, I had an opportunity to learn under Martin Seligman, who was widely recognized as having developed positive psychology and is a leading voice in the field. My interest in this subject continued to grow. Once I became a psychologist, I had a chance to develop a group program that combined many different positive psychology approaches to well-being. A self-guided version of this program seemed like an important next step. I wanted to create the kind of book that could help people during tough times, as well as enhance their lives even when nothing was particularly wrong. If you are searching for extra support in feeling good or know someone else who is, I hope that this book serves as that guiding light. I continue to practice a happier you skills in my own life, on good days and bad. I hope you find these skills helpful as you embark on your own journey toward your best possible self. Scott Glassman, Sci.D., August 2021. Week 1. The Meadow and the Stream. Catching Positive Events. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Aristotle. The well-known expression, "I can't see the forest for the trees," captures what it feels like to be flooded by negative thoughts, painful emotions, and deflating events. Walking through this forest of negativity, as many of us do each day, it can be difficult to find a more balanced perspective. It may seem that we are naturally inclined to see the glass as half empty, resigned to remain lost in that forest, or are unprepared to find a way out. You could blame yourself for being a negative person, but in doing so you would be overlooking a powerful phenomenon that influences all of us, known as the negativity effect.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?